Welcome to the Law, Your Money, and You. I'm Roberta Saphire, an attorney in Sharon, Massachusetts.
And I'm Camille Barron, a financial coordinator, also in Massachusetts. And today we're going to be talking about something that's very important to many, many young people today, and that is what it takes to get value out of a college education and what it requires of you to get a college education.
Yes, and we're very fortunate, and we welcome Lauren Mahncke, and a beautiful young lady. And I have to say, welcome, and she is one of our interns on the Law, Your Money, and You. Welcome, Lauren. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Lauren Mahncke, and I am a senior at Stonehill College right here in Easton, and I've just started to work for the Law, Your Money, and You this past summer, which has been a great pleasure.
And it's been wonderful having you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now tell the viewers, well, first tell us how you ended up in this part of the country. Like when you started to go to college, what were your concerns?
I guess the biggest concern when going to college for most people is how much it costs. College costs are ever increasing. And then the second biggest concern was because it costs so much, you want to make sure that you pick the right school for you because you don't want to spend 4 years miserable. So I think finding the fit, because there's so many different kinds of colleges out there. When you begin to learn, you realize that not every college is the same.
And so tell us the process that you went through to come up with those decisions.
Well, I'm an indecisive person, so I spent a lot of time researching online, internet. There's a lot of internet sources, but I think the best resources for me were talking to people that had already gone through the process. So I was lucky enough to have an older sister, and her friends who I thought were similar to me, I was able to ask them colleges they were interested in, so that helped narrow down the search. And then the other biggest thing is just going to visit colleges so that you got the best feel out of if you felt you would want to spend a significant amount of time here.
Now, I know people who, with their families, gone to 3 or 4 different colleges looking around, and then you have the ones who go to 13 to 15. How many did you do? What do you think?
I visited probably closer to 10 to 12 different colleges, maybe even a few more, maybe even closer to 15. Mm-hmm. But that's because I'm an indecisive person.
Or analytical.
Yeah, or analytical,
yeah. I don't know.
So I felt like I had to see a bunch of different types of colleges before I even knew what I wanted. Because I didn't know if I wanted like a big school, a state school, private school, public school. You know, there's so many options.
Well, you're in Stonehill College, which is a pretty popular college. How was that in comparison to big universities? Is this because they've been growing. They've been growing. It's a beautiful campus.
Yeah, it has a really pretty campus. That was one of the first reasons I think I liked the college. But I enjoy going to a smaller school as opposed to a big school because my biggest concern was classes and class sizes, and just I knew that I wouldn't be the type of person that would like having my professor know me, being just in a sea of people taking lecture notes. And Stonehill's professors, I got to meet them, and I just could really tell they cared about actually teaching. They weren't just teaching because they had to. So I think that was the biggest decision on why I went to Stonehill, was actually the kind of professors that were there.
What's your major?
I double major in English and gender studies with a minor in philosophy. So as my mom likes to call it, I'm going to be unemployed after college.
You're going to be what?
I'm going to be unemployed after college.
Unemployed? Oh, unemployed.
Well, that does get to the point, though, of the cost and the benefit, looking at college as an investment.
So, although I was going to say that till you've got to be kidding, but we could. This whole thing is going to be you've got to be kidding. Yeah, tell us about that.
The typical amount that somebody would expect, or range that somebody would expect to spend during the 4-year.
During 4 years?
Well, do 1 year.
Yeah,
that's
1 year.
You've got to be kidding.
1 year. If you want it for room and board, currently, it goes up a little bit every year, so it's been a little less in the past, but this year, room and board and tuition's close to between like $56,000 and $58,000. So for 1 year of just living, eating, and going to school. But then I feel as though a lot of people don't consider all the additional costs. So
Yeah.
I live in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So obviously I don't just stay at school all the time. I go back and visit my family. So driving back and forth, that can cost a lot of money. All the fun things that you want to do, because you don't just, I'm hoping that most people aren't just going to class and then sitting in their rooms alone. So going into Boston, doing fun things when you're on a campus, they try to provide free fun, but that's hard to come by.
Sure,
So I feel like when you go to college, it ends up costing a lot more than you even
And so when
initially know.
when you're evaluating it just purely from an economic standpoint, now you mentioned some of the other factors, the size of the school, the size of the factors, the classes, but what would you think about when you think about making an investment of $60,000 or so a year? How would you come up with what investment, what school might be the best return on that investment?
I think that it's really important when you're going to college to know if you know exactly what you want to do, then I feel like you have a bigger option on how much you can spend on college. So if you know that you want to be an engineer, you know engineers generally when they graduate make decent money, I feel as though you could go to more expensive college, maybe take out some student loans and be more secure. But I feel that, for example, me, I knew that I didn't know what I want to do. So I basically knew I knew nothing, and that I would probably major in what some people, not what I would call, but what some people would call the less practical, unemployable majors. And so when I picked my school, I really did pick the one that had given me the most money. So the one that would be the cheapest school sub going to a state school, because I knew that if I knew that if I went to a school with no money and took out like a full loan, it would not be a wise investment.
What's interesting about this is Lauren happens to be a very smart girl. I call her a chosen one because we've done shows with Rotary, and everybody knows Rotary International and what a big organization that is. Lauren was one of the chosen students, few chosen students that was chosen to participate while she was in high school in the RILA program. I want you to tell our viewers about the RILA program and why it makes you so special. I mean, for us it makes you so special, but it does make you special. So you could have really gone to many, many, many schools. You were what a school would call a good catch. But tell us about RILA and what it did for you.
So RILA stands for the Rotary Youth Leadership Award. So you get award at the end, but I feel like they should really change the name, because it's really a week-long kind of, not a seminar, not like a, I don't know, it's a week-long camp training. It's very hard to describe. It's one of those things that's unlike other programs. It's one of those youth leadership programs, where I've always gotten ones for go down to Washington, meet politicians, go up to New York City, do this, but they always cost money. So I always felt like they were a scam. But RILA...
Give another show for scams.
RILA is actually paid for, so there's no cost, and what they do is they divide it regionally, at least in New Jersey. So for my whatever region of RILA I've considered, and they go around to all the local counties' high schools, and they ask the guidance counselors to pick students. So you don't really apply for it. You kind of get picked by the guidance counselors in your school. And then after you get asked if you'd be interested, they ask, like, depending on the school size. So my school was about 800 students, so they asked 5 to 6 kids that are juniors. They usually ask junior students. And then you can go on an interview. And so I think 4 or 5 of the 6 or 7 that were asked went on the interview. I don't know why anyone wouldn't go on a free, fun conference thing, not go try to get into it. But then they picked 2 out of the people that interviewed. So I was one of the 2 or 3 that were picked. Maybe 2 or 3. I forget how many from my school.
I spoke to you, we spoke to you before about this when we found out. And the thing is, it's developing leadership qualities which they saw within you.
Exactly. So it's kind of like picking out students that you think have qualities that aren't fully developed yet, and then giving them an opportunity to really be able to develop those skills at no cost, which is something that rarely ever happens. I mean, most schools don't even give help you without some sort of cost. So
Because they see the potential,
Yeah.
and the youth is our future.
and then once you get there, it's very it's unlike anything I've ever else had done in my life. So it's a week long, and you do both group team building exercises. You do a lot of team building exercise. You have small groups, but then you also team build with every student that went to the conference, which is a couple hundred.
That's
It's a large
wonderful.
group, and then you really, in a short amount of time, really, it's only 6 full days. You get to become very good friends with very special group of people.
Yeah, so it follows through. Now, one of the reasons that we chose you as an intern is because we didn't even know about the RILA, but you could see from talking with you that you are. I don't want your head to go high, but you are. You're intelligent. You're caring, and so you've been working with. I would like our guests to know about the Center for Nonprofit. I don't think people realize that we're a nonprofit, what they call a 501c3. Otherwise, we wouldn't be qualified to have you as an intern. But there are now, nonprofits are big now. Not just, so a lot of the youth out there might be looking, if they're going to go into a vocation, they might choose the nonprofits. And right in New England, I think, do you know how many there are all over the country, Center for Nonprofits?
No, this is Stonehill's the first time I actually ever heard of something like that.
Yeah, well, it's fairly new. It's a Center for Nonprofit Management, and it's based at Stonehill. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that, and then you can tell what you do for the Lawyer Money and You, and some of your ideas, and what they do for the center.
So even though I go to Stonehill as a student, I've never actually heard of the center until I started working with you. So it's a building that's a little bit separate from the rest of the campus, but what their general mission is to help small or large, but mostly small budding nonprofit local organizations, to help them learn basically how to run an organization. So one thing that I do to help the Lawyer Money and You is I go into the center and use their computers, which have special databases on them. So you can do grant searches, find organizations or funds that will fit the Lawyer Money and You, things that have to do with obviously law and financing. So funds that it's actually a lot harder to find grants than I originally ever thought. I didn't realize you needed like a special database that's not on every computer and that you can't log into just using my laptop.
Like Google or
Google,
something.
exactly. So it's really useful to be able to use that kind of program for free.
Wow.
And then have your, you guys have, for example, a GuideStar page, which I never knew this either, but that if, let's say, an organization wants to give out some grants, they might look up, and you apply, they might look up your organization on this website called GuideStar, and they'll see your profile and decide if they think you're actually a legitimate organization or not. So they teach you a lot of these kind of, what I would say are insider tricks and tools about how to fund and run a nonprofit organization. So I think it's helpful both for people like you that have started your own business organization, or even for students like me to learn more about what would potentially like professional grant writing look like and things like that. So I think they serve a lot of different purposes.
Yeah, they have. I've gone to a few of their things, and it's amazing that such a facility exists, because there are so many nonprofits out there, and like you said, budding nonprofits, and there's help for them. There's help for them. I mean, you have the local school youth soccer, youth baseball, or the neighborhood fund, or this or that, and they have programs to help. And then, of course, you have the nonprofits. You've got to be kidding saying the nonprofits, like, is Blue Cross Blue Shield a nonprofit?
But you know what's interesting is, given the economy today, I can see why nonprofits are becoming more and more important because, first of all, governments don't have as much money to provide some of the services that nonprofits do. And then companies either do not have a lot of the financial resources just because of competition and the economy in general. So I can see why things have gravitated more towards the voluntary nonprofit side of things.
I'm wondering if the formation or attempt to form nonprofits slowed down since the big to-do about the IRS targeting nonprofit applicants. So you wouldn't know anything about that at
No.
Stonehill. But,
No.
but
I do know that working for nonprofits is a very popular choice for students and young adults my age. And that's an area of interest for a lot of people, I think, for my generation, because I feel as though a lot of students don't want to go work for big corporations because they don't find that work meaningful, but they don't want to just kind of go off and be a hippie and do nothing.
Nor can they afford to.
Nor can they afford to. So I think working for a nonprofit is a nice idea to a lot of people because it gives them that sense of meaning that I think is very important. I'm sure for all generations, but I feel particularly for people I know in my generation, but that actually feels like substantial work, but that's also important work. So if you're interested in business, but you don't not want to necessarily just work for a Fortune 500 company, I know a lot of people will opt maybe for interning and then trying to work for a nonprofit because it seems like, I don't want to say better, but more ethical, more meaningful, more helpful work to them.
so this is good for, you're going in your senior year, right? Do they offer the opportunity to work for nonprofits as interns? Do they set that program up for other grades like sophomores, juniors? Or is it
Well, mostly you'd have to go through our school's career services, so their office, which is basically multifunctioning, but they work with setting up all internships, finding all the internships, creating the database of internships. So any student can apply at any point for any internship in the database. They do particularly offer a lot of nonprofit internships because I think they're popular among Stonehill students.
Isn't that interesting? Would you say, have you come into contact with students of other colleges or universities?
Yeah, most people by this time have tried to do at least one internship. The interesting thing is, though, now in the news, is that most people I know who have done an internship, their internship is unpaid. If you're lucky, you get a paid internship, but that rarely happens. But in the news, it's starting to come out that they're talking about making unpaid internships illegal, which is interesting because I've always thought that, so it's hard, though, because nonprofits don't have a lot of money, so non-paid interns for them are good. But then you'll also get really big companies that should be paying their interns that'll get kind of free labor under the guise of the internship. So it's this interesting debate that's going on right now with the whole internship
That is interesting.
status in society, I guess,
Well,
and
they
education.
probably do go to work for a big company hoping they'll probably get hired afterwards. Like I know
Exactly.
at the Saphire estate, I think they always have 2 interns from Johnson and Wales. I'm pretty sure it's Johnson
Sure, I
and
bet it
Wales,
is.
because food service. And a lot of times they hire the people. And then I knew a wedding planner, wedding designer. She said she had interns before they were popular.
Yeah, in the company I worked for, we used to hire interns in the summer.
Really?
Every summer there'd be a
Yes.
whole bunch of interns who would come in. And most of the time, once they graduated, they were offered jobs.
Isn't that interesting?
So it was a wonderful
Because-
stepping stone. And plus, even if you don't end up working for that company, the fact that you have the experience is a definite feather in your cap.
So it's good interns. In a way, I remember my youngest son, he traveled through Europe, and he took a food course. And you could say you got to be kidding, too. 'Cause
You gotta be kidding.
But he took a food course, and they cooked in Australia, New Zealand, and they traveled. So, you know, he went to UMass Boston. We'll give all the schools the plugs. And he was able to go through, I think it was Tulane, that's down in New Orleans, and he was able to take this course to go overseas. One, it cost less money. Two, he got his credits, and he learned, you know, all about the different foods. Then he came back, and he got a job. He was never in a hurry. He took 6 years, but you know, he took a course in Newport. He went in Florida, went in, you know, anywhere. You know, he traveled. He saw the world, and it didn't cost that much, and he got credits. But he got a job in one of the hotels in Boston, and he worked 60 hours a week. You know, and he worked in the kitchen, and he worked, you know, where they bought, and, you know, he got hands-on experience. And he says, I'm getting all this knowledge, all this experience. It's not costing me a penny. Mm. He's working 60 hours a week, but he was happy. So, in a way, the interns are good. You know, they're... somebody told me interns shouldn't expect to get paid because they're learning, and it's not costing them anything. Is that funny?
I do agree that an
other
unpaid
end.
internship, so one such as yours, the reason why I like your working for you guys,
well, every now
and I'm
then
not
we
just
give
saying
you,
that because I'm
every
on,
now and then we take it
camera.
across the
Yeah.
bridge and buy an ice cream for
exactly.
Big benefits.
Yeah.
But it's something different to me than kind of working unpaid for a small organization like yours, and really getting to like work from the really the very early beginnings of an organization and really learn a lot by helping to build it up. Mm. But I think Stonehill does a good job of finding internships where you actually learn things. But I know a lot of people who I don't know if they really learned anything that they couldn't have picked up in the first couple of weeks of learning, coming right out of graduating. Mm-hmm. And it's hard because you're going to college, you're getting in debt, and then you're working, but you're not getting paid.
Now what happens?
Yeah. Keeps going downhill.
Go to the next step. You start off as a junior in college. You get in high school. You get picked for RILA, and you're lucky in a way. Not just lucky, it was there because others don't. You're in a college. You get an intern. I mean, you're being exposed to a lot of things. And because we're like good, we like take you under our wing and tell you about this and about that. I always feel you should learn something new. And now you're almost graduating. What's next? When you graduate, you're going into you come out in debt. I mean, what are they doing anything today to help with the student loans, like the debt? Do people come to the school, and is there any help on the way? Or
no, there's kind of just you floating in an ocean screaming for life preserver, but no one's throwing it out to you. Yeah, I mean, well, in high school...
You've got to be kidding.
In high school, there's a few basic...
Yeah, you've got to be kidding. No, I mean, this is you've got to be kidding. So what do they do? What do they do? You go out and you're in debt?
Yeah, basically they just send you off and hope you figure it out.
Is there any national center, a guide?
I mean, I've never found... My mom's an accountant, so that's helpful because she knows all about, you know, loans, accounting, money matters. So she helps me manage... Well, she'll help me manage my student loan. But if my mom wasn't an accountant and wouldn't help me with these things, I probably wouldn't know really much about them. I wouldn't even... know how to manage it coming out of college, especially in case, let's say, I don't get a job or something random happens. I think that a lot of people don't realize that student loans, you can't get rid of them by claiming bankruptcy.
Yeah,
you can't
we
defer
had
them.
that on the show.
And they used to have a pretty high interest rate, but now it's gone up to 6%, though there's debates on that too.
Now?
Yeah, so you really come out of college in the hole, and I feel like they really just hope that you're lucky and get a job and work your way out of it.
Boy,
but
you think it would have changed by now?
You know, they don't really do anything. They'll hold a seminar or two, you know, life after Stonehill, something along those lines. I'm sure at other colleges they have similar things. And they'll probably have something along the lines of how to manage your debt. But I've never found those information sessions to be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you like a little bit about your loan, but that's not going to help me get a job and make sure that I'm able to pay off my debt before it turns from $25,000 to like $60,000.
What do you think would be helpful if you didn't have a mother who's an accountant?
Good question.
Yeah.
I
think that it's really important to teach people about student loans before they even go to college and acquire these student loans.
That's
which
what
they
we're
didn't do a good job of in my high school. I don't really remember them doing anything about like how to manage. Like they talk to you about how to afford college, and they tell you about all the loans you could get.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't tell you then how to manage those loans once you take them out.
Or to avoid credit cards. We're winding up now, but that's what we were doing.
Exactly.
It's funny. We have a campaign that we're working on called Brighten Up. In other words, aimed for the high school students. Don't go, watch out for the charge cards, what to expect. And you have been so enlightening, too, you know, to a student, taking them through all the things. We'll have to have you come back after you get a job and see how you've managed your student loans and what you're doing.
You know, with the average college student, when they graduate, they come out of school with a debt of $30,000.
I thought it would be much more than that.
Well, it kind of ends up being more because the interest rates are so high that if you don't pay it off right
That's
away.
just college.
Yeah.
How about if you
then-
go on?
Yeah, I
Everybody
know a lot of
goes on
kids
as you
have
go on.
decided not to go to grad school because they don't want to. They were planning on it, and then now they've decided to just go get a job after college simply because they don't want to take on more debt.
Sure.
Or they've changed their plans just because more schooling equals more money.
Exactly.
Well, Lauren, thank you, honey.
Thank you very much.
Thank
This
you.
is very
This is-
enlightening.
This
And,
is
it's a topic that more and more people are becoming concerned about, and this is the time to be aware of it, is before you really get to the end of that road and find
yeah, we
yourself
go
in
to
a stone wall.
all these requests, and remember,
So please, everybody, if you have any questions, please let us know. You can send us an email, and hope you've enjoyed this segment. We need to hear from you, to hear what you want to talk about and topics, guests you'd like to have us bring on. We always are listening. Remember, this is your show, The Law, Your Money, and you.